The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Advanced Math Investing Incorporated cannot guarantee the future performance of a client's account or any specific performance level. Accounts are subject to various market, economic, political, currency, and other risks. Advanced math formulas are complicated and their usage may have limitation and difficulties. Welcome to Advanced Math Investing, an award-winning, registered investment advisor firm. As the name says, Advanced Math Investing is different than most investing companies. They use proprietary math algorithms to predict the market direction as well as individual stock direction. Advanced Math Investing will give your money the best chance possible in today's markets. And now, your host, Rand, the quant behind Advanced Math Investing.
Hi, good morning, South Florida. My name is Rand Robinson, and I'm the quant and registered investment advisor representative behind Advanced Math Investing. And as the name suggests, we use math algorithms to trade equities for our clients. And math algorithms is just a fancy word to say math programs that do a specific job or function. And within those algorithms, we use three metrics. One, we try to get the overall market direction. Are we in a bull market and a bear market? Number two, we search for undervalued stocks. And number three, with the stocks that we found and are following, we try to also get a direction that they're moving. So those are the three metrics. Each one on their own should be able to make money. We try to combine them to make our system even more powerful. I'm here to teach and inform and to make friends. So if we do use an audio clip during the show, it is permitted by the Fair Use Clause of the U.S. copyright law. But today, no clips. All right, let's begin with a market update because I think people you're driving. First, I'll give you a traffic update. This is horrible. I was on 95 in Boca. It's just, is it the snowbirds coming down? I don't know what it is, but a lot of traffic. The Dow is up 137.23. The Nasdaq's down 105.97, and the S&P, balance those two out, is basically flat, down 0.66, not even a point. The yield on the 10-year, 1.47. It ticks up, and I'll give you the reason. As a matter of fact, I think before I give you the market movers, is why, at least why people are saying the market is up, as Fed Chairman Powell yesterday said they're going to possibly have 3 rate increases next year, but they're not going to do any rate increases till they finish tapering, and tapering is supposed to end in March. And what tapering is, just so you know, is the Fed's been buying bonds, housing bond, whatever, just a bunch of general bonds, housing, mainly I think it's in the housing because they're trying to keep mortgage rates low. But their tapering means they're less and less, and by March, he said, we'll be done with the tapering. And then at some point, they're going to raise rates. And the reason why raising rates can be negative on the stock market, or inflation, I should say, is because the higher the interest rates go, the more people say, you know what, I'm just going to take the safety in bonds and get out of stocks. So inflation can be detrimental to the stock market. Okay, let's get the market movers for the day. Oh, there we go. Now this is just S&P 500 because it would make sense to give you a bunch of stocks that nobody knows. Accenture, which came out with earnings after the close yesterday, or this morning, I guess, or it was after the close, up $34.65, 9.23%. They had a better revenue, better earnings, and they beat their expectations. So, and that's a stock. It's a programming stock. They do, virtual, like if you call in, you get a virtual assistant helping you with your problems. They do a lot of internet stuff. AT&T up the most active, second most active, up $1.16, 5% jump, a major boost because that stock's been hammered. Amgen, a pharmaceutical, Nucor, the steel, and Newmont, another steel, up $1.94. Nucor up $3.94. Amgen up $10, which is 4%, so a nice move on Amgen. Let's look at the losers of the day. Adobe. Adobe also came out with earnings this morning, and let me look here. I think they missed. And where are my earnings? Yes. Oh, actually, here it's just interesting. They came out with a huge beat on their revenue, up 20% over the same quarter last year. They also beat up 14% on their revenues, but they just matched their projections, and the company kind of gave us soft expectations further ahead. So the market's, Adobe's down, but they actually had good earnings. There's a case of, I don't know what, good earnings, but not making expectations. Let's look at the overall market. The New York Stock Exchange, 2546 up and 774 down. So that's like a 3-to-1 to the upside. 7 times 3 is 21, and I got 25. New highs 88, new lows 32. Again, 2-to-1 to the new highs. Almost 3-to-1, but not quite. And the volume, 124 million shares traded right now this morning, 100 to the upside and 21 million to the down. So big up day for the market, at least breadth-wise. I'm going to give you I always give you insider trading and earnings. We kind of touched earnings, but right now insider trading, I have 3 for you from yesterday. Airbnb, David Bernstein, an insider, sold $24.1 million worth. Tyson Foods, Noel White, an insider, $1.9 million. He cashed out. And Zebra Technologies, Frank Motorson, $1.2 million. He cashed out. And I want to tell you something about insider trading because the Wall Street Journal on Friday, December 10th, wrote an article about the founders and CEO cashing out in huge numbers this year. Over $200 billion by the top 48 executives have been cashed out, and that's, according to Wall Street, the most insider sales in a decade. And here's some of the big boys: Elon Musk, Tesla, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, and Sundar Pichai at Google cashing out. Satya Nadella at Microsoft cashing out. The Walton family at Walmart cashing out, and Ronald Lauder at Estee Lauder, founder. He's been. Those are the big boys. And now the Wall Street says, what makes this? Why are they taking the money out? And they have 2 theories. One, they say insiders have a very good record of selling at tops and buying at bottoms. You can take that. Or number 2, they're saying that possible tax changes. Right now, there's a possible 5% tax on AGI, which is your adjusted gross income over $10 million. You get an additional 5%. And then if your AGI is over $25 million, an additional 3%. And then there's also, they've talked about a tax on unrealized gains, which means you don't even have to sell the stock. That's Bezos, who hasn't sold anything. Bezos is the one guy in all these people that just said, I don't need to cash out. And Elon Musk tweeted, regarding that article in the Wall Street, saying, this is his quote, "When the government runs out of other people's money, then they come for you." I assume coming from you is just like the average guy, because Elon Musk is upset about it. Although he had another tweet I saw yesterday saying he's the richest man in the world right now, just so you know. He said he's paid more taxes than the history of people paying taxes, which might be true. When you're the richest man, hopefully you're paying more than the guy down the street. Okay, so that's the insider. Let's talk about earnings. H&R Block came out. Their third quarter was down from last year on their earnings and revenue, but they beat expectations. The expectation was to lose $1.06, and they only lost 78 cents. So I think the market liked that and sent it up. Nordstrom came out with good third quarter earnings, where they beat last year's on sales and on earnings, but they didn't make their estimate. The estimate was $2.09 a share, and they came out with $1.90. I think that had a sell-off. And FedEx comes out after the close, so I don't know anything about that, but their estimated earnings are $4.28. And Adobe, which I talked about earlier, had a great year, but didn't quite make the estimates, and look at it getting hammered. All right, so that's the stock market wrap-up. Now I always give you an investment term to talk about, so you can learn, or we can all talk about it. And this week, it's discounted. You hear on the reports, well, the news was discounted on blah, blah, blah. If the market didn't really move when the news event happened, the people on these so-called stock shows say, well, that was discounted. What that means, just so you know, it means that the people knew what the news was ahead of time before it was announced and made their positions. And so it's discounted, meaning they already know the news. And even if the market goes up, now they don't say it was discounted, but trust me, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, almost all news is known by somebody before it happens. And so basically when something news comes out, somebody's already, unless it's a complete, weather or some crazy event that's just totally unpredictable. But economic news, company earnings, all that stuff, people know. And that's why it's discounted. I tend to not believe the headlines most of the time. And I'm going to give you some examples of that. Back in 2000, this is a weird example, but back in 2001 during 9/11, we were running our algorithms. I wasn't. My partner who's passed away, Larry, was. And I remember a couple of days before the 9/11 saying, Larry, why are the airline stocks having all these puts? There are a whole bunch of puts on the airline stocks. He shook his head, I don't know. And, we kind of forgot about it. Then, boom, the 9/11 came, the airline stocks plunged. I remember thinking, well, and they're going to investigate and mention that. Nobody ever, till today, I never heard anyone ever mention that there was a lot of puts, which puts means you're going to make money and the stock goes down. I haven't heard anyone ever mention that, not even that the Fed was going to break the trades. When they break the trades, that means nobody gets paid. But I never heard anything to that effect. So, and now I have another example. This is an example where people actually lost money on discounting. This is like, the 20 years ago was 9/11, so this is probably 15 years ago. It's a while back. But right at 4 o'clock, the stock market, U.S. stock market closes, and right around at 4 o'clock, maybe 4:01, the North Koreans sent their first missile test that went flying landed in the Pacific somewhere. And I saw the futures right after the close just plummet. I'm like, oh my goodness, Monday morning is going to be a horrible day. And I just kept that in mind, thinking, wow, we're really going to have a sell-off. Well, don't you know, come Monday, the news wasn't even on the news programs. Nobody was talking about it. It already beat it over Friday. And the market just opened unchanged. And I actually think it was slightly up for the day. Those people who jumped ahead and, they took horrible, horrible losses. And that is the next question you might say. Who are these people making these trades? What? Oh, okay. My guy is saying that we need to take a commercial break, so we'll take a break, and I'm going to tell you who those people are.
I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just 'cause everybody doing what they all do.
Are you happy with your portfolio performance? Whether you are doing it yourself or have an advisor, if you are looking for an upgrade, consider an appointment with Advanced Math Investing. They utilize math algorithms to invest in today's markets. Text RAND at 954-804-3722 or email them at rand at advancedmathinvesting.com. And of course, he'll return your inquiries.
Okay, we're back. Thanks. I was just saying, I don't know who's making these huge trades. There's no way for me to know, but the government does, because if you're trading over 100 contracts in options, you have to register with the Securities Commission as a registered options trader, and they know everything about you, because that's the way they want to know. So I don't know who these people are, but the government does. They're not mentioning it. Anyway, now you're probably going to say, okay, you gave me an example 20 years ago. You gave me an example 15. What about today? What's contemporary? And I'm going to give you an example that's going on right now. In the last 2 weeks, Russian stocks have been dropping. Pretty much every day been dropping. So you ask yourself, well, what's going on in Russia causing this to drop? I think if you're watching the news, you know that they've got all their tanks and military on the border with Ukraine. So the insiders are saying, I don't think this is a bluff. I think this is the real deal. So that's just insider looking at what and back to discounting, people moving ahead of the news, what they're doing. So discounting is kind of important. It keeps you fresh, and it kind of gives you a glimpse in the future if you look at because I think they had this build up a while ago, maybe a couple months ago. I didn't see the big sell-off in the stocks, but now I do now. All right. So that's my word of the day, discounting. And now we do pick a stock. A listener calls in with a star text, says, and we do a stock and try to get the fair value. Again, you can text me 954-804-3722 or email Rand at advancedmathinvesting.com. We have a stock. Last week it was Clark's. I'm going to tell you, the man also texted me because I said I didn't follow. I didn't have a buy or a sell in it, but it was a little bit undervalued. It's up and he texted, well, look at this. I'm helping your show. It was at 166.98. Now it's at 175.26. So, and that might even be higher. So he's up a little over 5% in a week with his stock that he wanted to look at. This week, we're going to look at, just so you know, and I go back to my first show, I said Amazon shouldn't be bought, and it's actually down. Not much, but it is down. The stock this week is Trinity, TRN. That's a nice pick because of the Build Back Better plan that's passed by Congress. It's in the industrial sector, and the industry is railroads. Trinity is a railcar leasing and management company with a fleet of over 107,000 rail cars of all types. They also have a highway division that makes rail guardrails, crash cushions, and crash barriers. And here's a news flash from Trinity. It just agreed to sell their highway division to a private investment firm called Monomoy Capital Partners for $375 million. So they're just going back to just the railroad business. The price when I looked at it was $28.29. My fair value price is $10.79. So it's obviously overpriced. But again, in this market, very hard to find underpriced stocks. So this is just a typical stock that's overpriced. And actually, I follow this stock, and I tell people that if I follow the stock, I'll tell you what my little individual, the third metric says. And my third metric is saying don't do anything because the Trinity right now is in a negative beta situation. And what negative beta means is and the market goes up. If you have a positive beta, your stock will go up. The market goes down, your stock goes down. The beta is just what percentage it goes. But right now, it's the market's going up, Trinity's going down, the market goes down, Trinity goes up. And I don't usually, the negative beta passes. So I'm not going to make a suggestion, but if you have it, I don't think I would throw it out because it is a stock I follow. But I can't give you a short term because it's in a little flux right now. So that's a scoop on Trinity. Let's go to, I'm going to talk about, my company, because some people say, I still don't understand what makes you different from other advisor firms. And I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, I work every day, actually twice a day, on the math algorithms. I run the math algorithms after the close, and in the morning, I run them again before the opening. And that's opposed to people who put you in funds. What do they got to run? Nothing. They just, wake up and have their coffee and cereal. So again, I'm not a set it and forget it type of guy. I don't have the heart to charge advisor fees if I'm not working. So I work twice a day, and I can't skip a day because those numbers, some of them you can't find after the day's passed. And I just want to let people also know I didn't start this company with the intention of bringing in clients. My partner Larry and I were doing it for our own personal investing. And we did this for a long time. He passed away. And then I thought, you know what? Because people were asking me, they knew what I did at work and whatnot. And I said, why don't I just become a registered investment advisor and representative and help people? So the point of the company initially wasn't to be an advisor, was to just make money for ourselves. And other people might say, well, if you're that good, why haven't some large bank and investing firm snapped you up? And when I first started, I got a lot of whatever you call them, headhunters. But the fact is, if you go work for those people, all your work becomes their property. You're just an employee. I'm not. I'm doing fine on my own. I don't need to work for a large company out of New York or wherever they are. So I have a story. I might be running out of time. I got to give you my Christmas pick because I said I was going to give you my Christmas movie. So before we run out of time, this movie came out in 1959. It's based on a true story of Red Nichols, a small-town trumpet player. He moved to New York City. He wanted to become a jazz musician. This is not really a traditional Christmas movie because it doesn't have any Christmas music, but it has wonderful music because Louis Armstrong and Danny Kaye are part of it. So the music is incredible. The name of the movie is Five Pennies. And you can't, it's not free on Netflix, believe it or not. It's $2.99 to rent on Amazon Prime or YouTube. I don't know why. But if you're going to buy it, you just get the real DVD. I don't think I'd buy it and have it downloaded. But it's a wonderful music. It does have a good Christmas story in it. And I'm going to tell you, it's a roller coaster on your emotions. Whew. Up and down, happy, sad. So be prepared for that if you're listening. I have, I got a little bit of time. I'm going to tell you a story about my Chamber of Commerce speech. You know, if you have a small business in South Florida, sooner or later, Chamber of Commerce is going to say, would you like to come and give a speech about your business amongst other businessmen? So I said, yeah, okay. Well, I went there, and all the speakers give about a 5 or 6 minute presentation, and then there's a question and answer, and everybody's very nice. These are businessmen. And it seemed fine. They saved me till next to last. The last person was a politician, but I got up there, I gave my whole presentation on my advanced math investing, and then when it came time for question and answer, it was silent. I thought, you know what, I went over everybody's head. Finally, one guy raised his hand and he said, would you train me to do this system? No, I can't do that. I said, it's like if I'm playing you with a chess and I got a chess computer making move suggestions, I'm beating you, but I can't train you how the chess computer. That's a advanced college degrees in math, statistics, and computing. So, no, I couldn't do that. But I understand that I would go over people's heads, and I try not to, but it happens. So you can text me your questions. I'd like to hear your stock of the day or even an investment term if you want me to talk about something. I do have a listener that said they're from Anchorage, Alaska, and Mary Renee, thanks for listening. That's pretty cool. I don't think they're, she's got to be listening online. Anchorage, Alaska, long ways. Okay, I think that's the end of our time, and thank you, and join us next week, and I'll give you another show. Thanks very much. Happy holidays.
Thanks for listening to Advanced Math Investing, an award-winning registered investment advisor firm. They actively manage client accounts and want to meet your financial objectives. If you would like to contact Rand, Text them at 954-804-3722. For more information, go to advancedmathinvesting.com. Tune in next time to hear from Rand help you follow the smart money.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.